I reported a man to airport security after he knocked my daughter over and walked away. We'd been planning this trip for over a year. My daughter Lily is 10, and this was her first time flying anywhere. That wasn't a quick hop to see relatives. We live in a small town, and money's always been tight, so a real vacation felt huge. She counted down the days on a calendar and packed her backpack a week early, checking and rechecking that her headphones, coloring book, and stuffed penguin were inside. The airport was overwhelming for her in that excited, buzzy way. Everything was loud and shiny and moving. I kept her close as we navigated security and found our gate. She was doing that thing where she talks nonstop because she's trying to process everything, pointing out planes, asking how the luggage gets under the plane, telling me which snacks she planned to eat first. Our flight got delayed, so the gate area filled up fast. People were sprawled across chairs, kids sitting on the floor, carry-ons everywhere. Lily stood next to me, leaning against my leg while I checked emails on my phone. That's when a man in a rush came barreling through the crowd, dragging a rolling suitcase behind him. He wasn't looking where he was going. The suitcase clipped Lily's ankle hard enough to knock her off balance. She fell forward onto her hands and knees, her backpack sliding off her shoulders. She let out this sharp cry, more startled than anything at first. Then the pain hit and she started sobbing. I dropped everything and knelt next to her, asking if she was okay. Her palms were already scraped, and she was clutching her ankle. The man had stopped a few feet away, turned just long enough to glance back, then rolled his eyes. "Watch your kid," he said, like this was somehow her fault. Then he turned and kept walking toward the coffee shop without another word. Something in me snapped. I helped Lily up and got her settled into a chair, digging tissues out of my bag while she cried into my jacket. Her ankle was swelling and she kept saying it hurt to stand. People around us were staring, some sympathetic, some pretending not to notice. I looked over and saw the man standing in line, scrolling on his phone like nothing had happened. No apology. No checking if she was okay. Just irritation that he'd been briefly inconvenienced. I flagged down the gate agent and asked if there was airport security nearby. She took one look at Lily's hands and ankle and immediately picked up her phone. She asked me what happened, and I told her exactly what I saw. The suitcase, the impact, the comment, and the fact that he walked away. I described the man's jacket, his backpack, and where he was standing. Within minutes, 2 security officers showed up. One stayed with us while the other walked over to the coffee line. Lily had calmed down a bit by then, but she was still shaking, holding onto my arm like she was afraid something else would happen if she let go. The officer came back with the man. Up close, he looked annoyed more than anything. He immediately started talking over everyone, saying airports were chaotic and kids shouldn't be in walkways, and that he didn't even hit her that hard. The officer shut that down fast. He told him witnesses saw what happened, and that leaving the scene after causing an injury wasn't okay. They asked for his ID and took statements from me and the gate agent. The man's face turned red when he realized this wasn't just a warning. He kept glancing at Lily, then away, like he didn't want to acknowledge her at all. When the officer told him he might miss his flight depending on how long this took, he finally snapped, pointing at me and saying I was overreacting and trying to ruin his day. I didn't say a word. I just focused on Lily, who was watching everything with wide, quiet eyes. Airport medical staff came by to check her ankle. They said it was likely a bad bruise or mild sprain and wrapped it for support. She wouldn't need a hospital, but they advised keeping weight off it for the rest of the day. That meant no running through the terminal, no excitement-filled sprint onto the plane like she'd imagined. We boarded early so she could walk slowly and get settled. As we passed the security desk, I saw the man sitting there, arms crossed, jaw tight, an officer standing nearby. He looked up and saw us, and his glare could have burned through glass. Lily squeezed my hand and whispered, "Am I in trouble?" I told her no. I told her she didn't do anything wrong. I told her sometimes adults make bad choices, and it's okay to speak up when someone gets hurt. As we took our seats, she rested her head on my shoulder, exhausted. The trip didn't start the way we planned, and her ankle would slow us down for a few days. But as the plane lifted off, she smiled a little and said, "I'm still glad we're going." So was I.